Good morning. Go ahead and make your way to your mat. And as you come to your mat, go ahead and take that comfortable cross-legged seat, allowing your shoulders to drop down away from your ears. Maybe you slightly drop your chin towards your chest, raising through the crown of the head, nice straight spine. Connecting in with that nice deep breathing. In and out through the nose. We're going to go ahead and take a little warming breath this morning, Kapalabhati, to kind of get things going. We'll be doing a bunch of hip openers this morning and sometimes heating up a little bit. Helps, especially if we're just waking up to this class. I can tend to be a little stiff in the morning, and I know a lot of others are as well. So go ahead and put one hand on your belly and maybe just like a little bit above the belly button, kind of where the diaphragm is. And then you're just going to take a few breaths in and out of there, feeling the rise and the fall. And imagine your lungs like a sponge. When you put a sponge in water, it just naturally wants to fill up, to suck it all in. So imagine that with the oxygen coming in, and then when you squeeze a sponge out, when you wring it out, you squeeze all the water out. So we're going to do that with the breath. We're going to take a deep, deep, deep breath in, and then we're going to take little fast squeezes. We're going to squeeze our diaphragm, pushing the air out, and between each push, you're just going to let the oxygen fill back up. And we're going to hold it, we're going to do the Kapalabhati, the fire breath, maybe for about 30 seconds, or when you've kind of completely run out of air. So exhale everything. Inhale, nice and deep. And begin. Exhaling and inhaling. And exhaling. One more deep inhale and one more round. And begin. And releasing that hand back to the thigh, coming back to a natural cycle of breath, or Ujjayi, breathing in and out through the nose. And go ahead and just allow your eyes to close for a moment before we move into our stretches and openings. And take this moment to set an intention for your day. Setting an intention for what you would like to experience or what you would like to see happen, see manifest in your reality is one of the most powerful ways that we can actually make that happen. So by setting an intention, our intuition then aligns to that intention. And as we go about our day, making our choices, our actions, our intuition guides us in the direction of that intention. So if you were to set an intention, say, to just experience overwhelming happiness or overwhelming joy, we can start with that intention from a place of gratitude, knowing that that is what we are going to call into our experience today. And with aligning ourselves with that energetic vibration, with that feeling, that emotion that puts us into motion of joy or happiness or whatever your intention may be. Just knowing that is where our intuition will lead us. And allowing your eyes to open. Go ahead and take your hands behind you. Feet come to the mat or right in front of the mat, out in front of you, heels to the mat, legs wider than hips. We're just going to begin bringing some motion into the hips, dropping both knees over to the right. Inhale through center, over to the left. Continuing at the pace of your own breath. On the down parts, go ahead and just give it a little bit of encouragement. So the knees dropping towards the mat, and they may not be to the mat today, but that's the intention. That's where we're going with it. Just finding a nice stretch, nice opening through the hip sockets, waking them up before we move deeper. Go ahead, come to center, grabbing behind the thighs, drawing the legs together and stretching them out long. If you have a strap, you may want to use a strap for this portion. If not, just taking a forward fold. If you're going to practice yoga with any sort of regularity, I highly, highly, highly recommend just hopping onto Amazon or one of your local stores and just grabbing a couple blocks and a strap. They're so nice, so useful, and just so affordable these days. So if you have a strap, strapping it around the balls of your feet. If not, just go ahead and flex your feet strongly. We're going to inhale that chest forward, either way, nice straight spine. And then you're going to lead with your chest towards your legs. So maybe you're holding on to your shins or feet or strap. Breathing into the back of the legs. I like to sometimes add a slight motion. I'll lift up just a little bit with the inhale. With my exhale, just push a little bit deeper. Just encouraging slow opening. And if you find a nice spot, a nice space in which you're really getting into some juicy areas, go ahead and just pause there, stay there, hold there, breathe into that. On your next inhale, beginning to release up, go ahead and take that left foot out and in to the side, allowing that knee to drop out towards the side. So now you just have your right foot forward, flexed, hooked with the strap or holding with the shin into that forward fold. Again, drawing forward with the chest, not hunching in the back. Drawing out through the crown of the head, chest leads towards the leg. Really work on pointing those toes straight up towards the ceiling or the sky, however you prefer to think about it. And just really giving our intentions a lot of thought and nurturing this morning. Go ahead and pull that intention that you just set back into your mind and breathe into that as we breathe into the back of the leg. Inhale up through center, switching the legs. Now the left foot or opposite foot straight forward. Right foot comes in, dropping that knee open to the side. This one's a little tighter for me, so I'm just giving it a moment of encouragement. And then go ahead and begin that fold again, drawing that chest forward, nice straight spine, reaching out through that crown, flexing that foot, drawing those toes back towards your nose. Just breathing here into the back of that leg, into that intention, connecting our intention with our breath, with our movement, inserting it into our muscle memory, and beginning to inhale up. Sorry, just waking up. Stickies in my throat. Go ahead and release that strap, bringing the soles of your feet together, drawing those heels in as close as you can to the body. Maybe wrapping your hands around the back side of your feet and pressing those knees towards the mat. This will draw your shoulders down away from your ears, still drawing the crown up towards the sky. Baddha Konasana, maybe you even begin to draw that chest towards the ground, really energetically pushing the legs out. Maybe you move the hands back to the shins. I like sometimes to be able to have a little bit of leverage, pushing out with the elbows. Most of us will find, it's almost safe to say all of us, but most of us will find some imbalances in the body, or some, we'll call it differences between one side or the other. So you might find that one hip is tighter than the other, and just taking note of that, just taking note of any differences. And maybe I like to press like a little bit deeper into my tighter side, beginning to move towards a greater level of balance and equality between the sides. And releasing up through center. Go ahead and take that right foot out in front and a little bit away from the body. This is going to be for support. Go ahead and scoot now a little bit of flesh out from under your sit bones so you can get a really nice grounded seat. From there, we're going to begin working into the hips. So drawing that shin up towards parallel to your leg. I have the ankle kind of resting on the knee with my hand underneath. And I'm going to prepare to hook the foot into the crux of my elbow and cradle the baby. So maybe you are just kind of here today, rocking back and forth, but if it's available to you, hook that foot in that elbow. It's a really nice way to open into the hips. Take that front foot as far as you need to, or as close as you want to. The closer you bring it, the deeper the stretch. Also drawing that shin towards the chest and continuing to work that foot up so the shin is also parallel to the ground. And you might not be there today. It might be down a little bit, but working towards that. Maybe rocking a little back and forth. And releasing that left leg. Beautiful work. Go ahead and prepare for the switch. Maybe starting with that ankle up. I might take a couple extra breaths here. Again, this is my tight side, but you know where we're going with it. So moving into the cradle as you're ready. Continuing to draw that hip towards that, that chest towards that shin. Rocking as you please. Breathing here. And go ahead and release, bringing both feet out long, bouncing the knees, just to find a little release in there. We are doing a lot of deep hip openings this morning, so kind of resetting in between is nice. Go ahead and bring the soles of your feet to the mat. That right foot's going to come under and across. The foot comes down along the left side. Left leg crosses over. And flex those feet as much as you can. So we're working towards getting the knees to one on top of another. I've been doing some other manual labor, so mine are particularly further off than they normally would be. But that's the beautiful practice of yoga for me, is that we just get to meet ourselves where we're at. So I want you to just meet yourself wherever you are, working from there, moving from there. Sometimes it may feel like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But the practice really is about healing and lifestyle, growth through lifestyle. This isn't something, none of the poses are something that you work to achieve overnight. It's all in small increments, day by day, practice by practice. Just showing up for yourself. And if you begin to find a little more opening, you can always readjust closer to that full alignment. Maybe you lean forward a little bit, maybe you don't. Only press as far as both hips can still be planted on the mat. So you don't want one hip coming up off the mat. Back out a little bit if you do. This is just about opening, about working from where we're at. It's not a competition, not even with ourselves. And on your next inhale, pressing up to seated, go ahead and slowly uncross those legs. Again, go ahead and take a moment just to bounce it out in between. Now left leg comes across first, right leg over top. Just taking a moment to get set up. Flexing both feet, that'll help protect the knee joints. Maybe drawing that chest a little bit forward. Maybe you sit up perfectly straight and that's already a deep stretch for you. Maybe your belly is resting all the way against your thighs and your knees are stacked, one right on top of each other. Wherever you are at is beautiful. Work into your edge. Make the practice yours. And if I'm holding something too long for you and you need to back out, please feel free to do that as well. I only encourage that we move a little bit deeper than our comfort zone, working in appropriate ways. So never into an injury or something that can further damage, only moving into our edge of uncomfortability as far as stretch or strength where it is healthy for our bodies to grow and to move into. So if you have any questions ever about any classes or any poses, please always feel free to reach out to me. I absolutely love modifying for people's specific needs. That type of healing work is my passion. So please, please never be afraid to reach out. Inhale up and releasing, bouncing those knees. Go ahead and make your way onto your hands and knees. Stacking your knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. And from this nice tabletop, you're going to drop your belly towards the mat, tailbone rising up, crown rising up. And then exhale, pressing into the hands and knees, arching the spine, tucking that chin and tailbone under. Inhale forward and exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Continuing at the pace of your breath for a few more times. And then I am feeling extra tight, kind of in between my shoulders and my spine from the type of work I've been doing this week. So I'm going to go ahead and invite you also into a little bit of intuitive flow, just to open up a little deeper in the spine. They say the spine really dictates how we feel in our body, as in like the age of the body. So the healthier the spine, the younger and more youthful you will be. So I invite you to maybe make some forward and backward circles. I invite you to maybe go from side to side, making figure eights. Maybe the other direction. Maybe you add in the neck. Everything done nice and slow and fluidly. Making your way back to neutral spine. We're just going to wag our tail now. So this will not only bring some lateral motion into the spine, but is also an opportunity to work the core. So I really want you to feel the crunch in your obliques as we go from side to side. So inhaling in the center, you're going to exhale, shoulder to hip, maybe peeking out over. Inhale, center, exhale, other side, shoulder to hip. Center, side, center, side. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to center. Dropping your shoulders to the mat. Hips stay up. You might walk those elbows out a little bit forward, dropping that chest down between the shoulders, clasping the hands. And I like to play with the hands. I like to move them towards straight and then back towards above my head once my forehead comes to the mat. And you'll see that that just changes the stretch in your shoulders. So dropping that chest and head down. And maybe playing with the position of the hands. Go ahead and drop those hands back to the mat, unclasping, beginning to walk yourself back up to neutral spine, hands and knees. If they're not already, tucking those back toes under, inhaling the hips up and back, down dog. Pressing out through those hips, inhale that right foot up, exhale, bending the knee and placing that shin on the mat. Kind of as close to parallel as you can, but have it angled as far back as you need to get your hips squared off to the mat. So that one's not popping up or dipping down. Take a gaze back, because even in my body, after years and years and years of practice, I still need to watch myself extremely closely. So take a peek back, make sure that leg is tracking straight behind from the hip. It's really easy for it to want to be off to one side or the other, especially if there's any tightness. Your body is going to try and go to the path of least resistance. But we really want to pull it into alignment so we can get into those areas and find some opening, find some release. So maybe you're here with the foot straight behind you, leg tracking straight behind you, hips parallel to the mat, and up on your hands or fist, and that might be good for you. If you want to take it a little deeper and that's available to you, maybe you bring your elbows to the mat. Maybe you bring your head to the mat. I may get there today, I may not. But again, if your hips are square and your belly comes and rests down easily and you can put your forehead on the mat, then please feel free to do so. I'm going to hold this opening here for a little bit, maybe allowing your eyes to close. Relaxing in your jaw, bent face, relaxing around the eyes, relaxing the forehead. Relaxing in the belly.
On your next inhale, beginning to press up. I want you to go ahead and if you've taken that shin close to parallel, go ahead and release for now, bringing it back towards, angling back towards your body. And you can release the flex for now as well too, since we're not going to be focusing so deeply in the moment on that hip opening. Go ahead and begin to draw that back foot up, really pressing that heel towards your buttocks. Maybe you bring that right hand right in front of you. Maybe you bring that left hand back and grab the foot, pulling that foot into the hand, hand into the foot. Still working on squaring off the hips. And go ahead and release, tucking those back toes under, pressing the hips up to release that front foot and back into down dog. Maybe walking the dog. Inhale, left foot up. Exhale, coming through, moving that shin towards parallel. It may not be there today. Just as close as you can get, flexing that front foot to protect the knee joint. Take that feet back. Double check that your leg is tracking straight behind you. And then just double checking the hips. That one isn't dipping or flailing up. That back foot can be flexed or the top of the foot can be laying against the mat. Maybe you come down onto your elbows. Maybe you come down onto your forehead. On your next inhale, if you came down, go ahead and begin pressing back up. Again, we're releasing that shin so the foot angles in closer to our body. Readjusting the hips to parallel. Go ahead and bring that left hand towards the center. Right foot up and off the mat. Maybe you're here. Maybe you try reaching back. And gently release, tucking those back toes under, pressing the hips up and back. From down dog, go ahead and bring those big toes together. Knees nice and wide, pressing the hips back, child's pose. Inhale forward onto the hands and knees. Go ahead and make your way onto your back. Go ahead and roll down one vertebra at a time. Once you get all the way down onto the mat, take that left ankle, cross it over the right knee. Inhale, drawing that right knee up off the mat. Go ahead and keep that left foot for sure nice and flexed. I usually just flex both mine to make sure I don't forget. You don't have to flex the bottom one, but please, please, please flex the top one. That protects our knee joint. If you took behind the thigh and you can start to move a little deeper and grab the shin and your shoulder blades still come back to the mat, please feel free to do so. Gently pulling in on that bottom leg. Really just giving a few good breaths here in figure 4. Our final hip opener for the day. Releasing that leg back to the mat, uncrossing, switching the cross, right ankle over left knee. Left leg comes up, right foot stays flexed. After a couple breaths, if you didn't already go deeper, if you can go a little deeper, take this opportunity to do so. Really pulling that right leg in towards the chest. And release. Soles of the feet come to the mat. Left ankle again crosses over right knee, but this time both knees just drop over to the right. A nice spinal twist, supine twist. Maybe you use your right hand to draw that left knee a little bit closer to the mat. And then opening across the chest, maybe you gaze out over that left shoulder. On your next inhale, coming up through center, switching the cross, dropping both knees over towards the left. Maybe drawing that right knee down with the left hand, opening across the chest, shoulder comes to the mat. Maybe you open that right arm, maybe you gaze out over the right shoulder, as long as it's not tweaking in your neck. Otherwise, feel free to look in the same direction as your knees. Breathing into this nice supine twist, opening through that lower spine. On your next inhale, coming up to center, opening the cross and drawing your legs out long. Arms open to the side, just a little bit away from the body, rolling those shoulder blades under. Just a little bit to open deeper in the chest. Closing your eyes. Relaxing in your belly. Relaxing in your chest. Your hands
just resting against the ground, releasing any tension in the hands, the fingers, the legs, feet. Your head is completely relaxed. Your eyes sit like water in the sockets. And you just breathe. As you take a few more deep breaths here, I'd like you to bring back into your awareness your intention from the beginning of class. Holding that intention in your mind's eye, see if you can give it a little bit more energy by infusing it with gratitude. As we embody gratitude, we are telling ourselves, our bodies, the universe, that we already have that which we desire. And coming from that space of gratitude, we just add extra fuel to the fire of our experience. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and toes. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, sighing it out through the mouth. Go ahead and bring the soles of your feet to the mat. And with bent knees here, beginning to roll onto your side for fetal position. And as you take your last breath or two here in fetal, begin to press yourself up, back into seated. And just for a breath or two more here in seated. Come back to a nice straight spine. Come back to shoulders dropped away from the ears. Come back to crown, reaching out to the sky. Come back to hips planted, grounded deeply into the earth. From this place of rootedness, from groundedness, we may stretch out, up into the skies, into imagination, into dreams and creatorship. And as we connect with our dreams, we bring them back down into our reality through our roots, through our groundedness, to experience right here, right now. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Namaste.